If you want to get even more information for the champion that I'm playing in the video, I have made a written guide that you can check out, and the link to it will be in the video description. The guide explains basically everything: runes, items, builds, game stages, and more. Each guide also has a unique matchup spreadsheet, and the link to the spreadsheet is on the guide itself. And once you click the matchup link, you will find build and level up orders, alongside tips and tricks for every single champion you can face. For example, if you struggle as Darius versus Anivia because she's not really picked top lane, you can go to the Darius guide, click on the matchup spreadsheet link, and you will see what I do versus her. The video description contains every single guide that I have currently available. These guides and matchup spreadsheets are completely free. You don't have to pay anything for them. The only thing you can do is actually like or dislike the actual guide, but that's it. I update both the guides and the matchup spreadsheets quite frequently, and I'd say around 98% of the total information on the guides and the matchup spreadsheets is completely up to date. With all that out of the way, please enjoy this video. There won't be any in-game audio for this game in particular. The sound just messed up really badly, so I had to mute the audio. After this game, it's gonna return. It's only gonna be for this one. This matchup can actually be pretty tough, especially pre-6. If Shen abuses his strong early game, he can actually beat you down really hard. His level 2 power spike is especially threatening because he can just dash into you and then use all 3 Q attacks and then walk away. And you can't really beat that. You're gonna need basically a fully stacked W shield to tank through it. And if you take your E, you basically lose every single time. Because if you try to pull him back into you, he just wins the 1v1 since you don't have the W. And if he has Ignite, his kill pressure is even higher. In this case, he ran Teleport, so it's not as high as it could be. You want to try to play it slowly and wait for your level 6, and then fight him once you hit that 6. Until then, try to Q-poke him and not let him pull the Spirit Blade through you. And try to not give him too many obvious taunt angles. Though one of the issues with actually dodging his taunt is the fact that when you Q, you stand still, so then he can just taunt into you freely while you're in that animation. But you can also try to buffer your E to make sure that you pull him off of you just before the taunt hits. Whenever you have your ultimate, it is much easier to fight him. And it is actually better to use your ultimate right after he pulls the Spirit Blade through you. And this is because Shen actually gains a lot of attack speed from using his Q, if it actually goes through you, so you will use your ultimate on him when he has that enhanced attack speed and steal more. The best course of action here is to just play it slowly until Rylai's. Once you hit that Rylai spike, you can perma-freeze on your side and he can never walk up to farm. The one thing that can end up happening though is that he can use his ultimate freely to actually roam around the map. If the wave is constantly at your turret, then he won't actually lose that much when you decide to push him out. Like let's say he uses his ultimate on bot lane and then you try to push. If he actually has teleport, he can just TP back and basically lose nothing. But you would at least burn his teleport. The alternative is to actually perma push him in and Q-poke him from under his turret. And you can do that especially before Rylai, but once the Rylai spike hits, I still like to just perma freeze on my side of the wave. Simply because I think he will lose way more, even though that might give him more roam angles. I was honestly pretty surprised Shen actually just ulted Jarvan right before my ulti came down, but it did end up saving him. Though I burned Shen flash, Shen ult, and Jarvan flash, so it's not super terrible. Now what I'm going to do is hard push this wave and then go behind his turret and hold that wave there. And then just let my wave crash into his turret. And once that happens, I can set up a perma freeze. Unfortunately, I didn't do it as well as I could have because one minion got past. And it did mess it up a bit, but in the end, it actually still froze onto my side, which is really good. Now he needs someone to come and help him break this freeze. And if I have my ultimate, I can just 2v1 or 3v1 and make it a 1-for-1. After pushing out this wave, he actually looks to proxy and I try to deny it. And I take a ton of his health out and I deny the proxy. Right here, I do a play that is insanely greedy. I should never go for this, and especially not right into his turret. I die and it was a mistake on my end. But I want to talk specifically about what items I'm going to buy next. In my opinion, the enemy team has a significant amount of healing, especially with that Silas W, so I end up buying an Oblivion Orb, on top of a Jarvan Sundered Sky. I could have also gone Bramble, but I decided to go Orb for the damage. But then I want to highlight my next item, which is going to be Serpent's Fang, which seems extremely weird here because you don't actually use the lethality. The attack damage doesn't go to waste anymore, but the lethality is kind of a wasted stat. And that is true, but in this game, I feel like the value from it is way too good. You have Jarvan W, Jarvan Eclipse, Shen's shield on passive and ultimate, on top of Karma, who can just use her R+E to mega shield everyone. So after purchasing this Oblivion Orb, I instantly go into Serpent's Fang. And again, it seems really weird, but I will actually show the shield cut reduction numbers at the end of the game. And I will also show Qiyana's shield cut numbers, because she also got Serpent's Fang. So we can see how much shield cut Qiyana applied, who's the assassin who should buy Serpent's Fang, and then we will compare that to my shield cut. After this fight, we end up ending the game. So I'm going to show how much shielding Qiyana cut and then how much shielding my Serpent's Fang cut. Qiyana's Serpent's Fang cut 2,400 shielding and mine cut 7,500. So I would say this was a very good purchase in this game.
The road to greatness must be walked alone.
The Jax lane is usually particularly tough pre-6. Once you get to that level 6, it is so much easier. It also depends on what setup Jax runs. If he runs Grasp of the Undying plus Teleport, that is actually much easier for Mordekaiser to deal with, as opposed to him having Ignite plus Lethal Tempo. That is the most aggressive setup Jax can take, and that is the toughest to deal with. What he's most likely going to do is perma jump on your head once he hits that level 2, and you need to make sure you either pull him off of you, which isn't always going to be possible, or you have your W fully stacked, or else you're not really gonna win the 1v1 pre-6. And once you hit that level 6 and he jumps on you and uses his counter strike early, you should be able to ult him and kill him. This Jax didn't play it that particularly well, and he basically said that he really only picked Jax because he got those buffs and wanted to test him out. That being said, Jax did become Omega strong, so I didn't really feel too bad about beating him. The buff they gave him on his ultimate was absolutely disgusting, but I don't want to rant too much about that. Into Lethal Tempo, I always like to rush Bramblevest, because Jax will auto attack a ton with his attack speed passive plus the Lethal Tempo passive, so the reflected damage will be really good on top of the actual armor. And then you can either go into Plated Steel Caps or Rift Maker. Haunting Eyes is another good power spike, so you can either wait for Bramblevest plus Plated Steel Caps plus Haunting Eyes if you want to be really safe, or you just wait for that Bramblevest and level 6 and then start fighting him. Both options work well, it just depends on how the both of you play out the lane, and how much pressure Jax puts onto you by perma jumping onto you.
The strong eat, the weak starve. Need cleaves the weak from the strong.
I was actually so far ahead here that I forgot that I'm supposed to go into the Rift Maker that I ended up going for Rylai. And I realized that a little later, and I upgraded into Nashor's Tooth second instead. I wouldn't normally go Nashor's second here, but because I bought that blasting one, I kinda didn't want to sell it and I didn't want to just sit on it.
My deeds made me. Your fate is
Slain an enemy. Ally has been slain. Shut down.
I felt like I was ahead enough here to where I could go Hextech Rocket Belt instead of Rift Maker. Into their comp overall, Rocket Belt would be better, I'd say. So I just forego the Rift Maker since I know I can 1v1 Jax for sure at this point, and then get that Rocket Belt dash, which is just better into their comp.
Has destroyed.
I don't really like this matchup. I think Ambessa has just way too many dashes to be able to dodge out your Q and E. Every single time she uses any spell, she will be able to dash. So she can dash twice with her Q, once with her W, once with her E, and once with her ultimate on top of her ultimate repositioning her. She can also use her ultimate to stop yours, but not many people know about this. If she times it correctly, you will actually lose your ultimate when Ambessa ults. The one thing you want to do is play it super mega slowly. Just try to Q poke, but the issue is that if you actually do that, especially after level 3, if you walk up to Q her, Ambessa can use her E to get close to you and slow you, then she will auto you into a Q, into another auto attack, into her second Q, and then just use the W to get away or still continue the trade. And you will basically lose that every single time. And you have to wait for all of those dashes before you can pull her. So if she actually saves her W and you try to pull her to continue the fight, well then she's out of the fight completely. Or maybe she uses the W into you and saves her second Q to actually dash out of your E range. It is really difficult to correctly play into this character the higher in rank you go. It becomes so much harder for you. In the lower ranks it's easier because Ambessa might cancel auto attacks or use all her spells instantly and then not have any dashes, or just dash incorrectly, and that is totally fine. But in the higher ranks, this becomes really tough to beat, but not impossible, because I found a setup that actually works quite well into her. And what I do is rush Bramble Vest, and this is because she will actually auto attack a lot more than you might expect due to her passive, because of that enhanced auto attack damage, on top of the energy refresh, so the reflect is good. Plus your grievous wounds don't go to waste, because after level 6 Ambessa will heal off of the damage she deals to you. So if she auto attacks you, then she will heal less. And then after Bramble Vest I go into Rylai. And once you get to that Rylai spike, you can usually 1v1 her pretty reliably, because with your approach velocity as well, you should be able to just auto attack her down. And she will be forced to use all her dashes before you actually need to Q most of the time. There's cases where that won't be possible, but you try to make it to where she is forced to dash as much as possible, and then you want to use your Q. Also, her actual dash speed scales with her movement speed, so when you have Rylai, she will dash slower. But the main spike here is having Bramble Vest with plated steel caps, Rylai's Crystal Scepter, and then a Serpent's Fang. That Serpent is going to be huge in this lane, because what Ambessa will most likely do is rush Eclipse, and her Eclipse combined with her W will give her huge shielding. So if you get to that Serpent's Fang, you will beat her down really hard. And after Serpents, you go for Hexblade, and at the Hexblade power spike, you can just ult her and auto attack her down most of the time. Another thing you can do that can kind of guarantee a Q is actually use your Q behind yourself when she ults you, because she's always going to position herself behind you, so you can angle your Q to guaranteed hit her behind you. But again, the main thing here is playing it extremely slowly, because most of the time she can just space you out of it. You want to take more extended trades, but it's difficult to actually sit onto her. So essentially don't even think about it unless you get a really good pull angle or all-in angle with your ultimate. And just play for Bramble Vest, Rylai, and Serpent's Fang. Those are insanely good into her. And then afterwards you can also wait for the Hexblade if you really want.
Enemy double kill.
Now I have both Serpents and the Rylai Spike, so I am disgustingly strong. Even before at the Rylai Spike I was able to 1v on the Ambessa, but now the shield cut is going to be huge here.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Shut down. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Thank you guys for joining me in this video. I hope you found the information useful, and I will see you guys in the next video, hopefully very soon.
I am favored by the gods and awaited in the Hall of Bones.